Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me share the screen. I think it's this. Which one do I want? This one. Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm watching, just to let you know, let me see if I can pull this over here. We're gonna do side by side here because I'm watching the breakout level on NAS right now. I found, we finally like kind of modified the indicators to get them to work single item. So that means like there's only one candle per trend slice. As I was talking about yesterday, we modified that. We still have to do a lot of cosmetic adjustments to it. But basically, on this particular chart, what I have is I have the reverse pure indicator and the trend break indicator. So there's just literally only two indicators per slice. We just started a new trend slice. Market's obviously very, very strongly up off of very modest CPI data, especially on the core numbers. That's created a massive pop at the beginning. As you can see, the first half hour is just nothing but buyers. Now, we're starting to stall a little bit, but we have a new trend slice. So it's a legitimate setup for us if that level gets broken. So right now, I mean, we don't have this on 4 yet because I don't have the 4 indicator. So I'm basically trading using 5 indicator right now as a guide, and going to use, if it forms a arrow like this little green arrow over here, then I will be going long. Then we're going to go long. And I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the other stuff that I thought about overnight. Looks like it's starting to form the green arrow, starting to form the green arrow. We got about let me see how much time we have. We have 8 seconds, not doing it. It's kind of stalling out. You see, I mean, we had a huge move. We seem to have last 2 days. We've had these really big moves in the 9:30, 10 o'clock hour, where a lot of the power moves happened. And then now we're just kind of stalling out on the forward action. So we're no trades because no signals until we get there. It's a little bit annoying because I don't have this algorithmically set up yet, so I really have to watch this manually. Otherwise, the algo would have, if it broke the highs, would have picked up the trade and put me right into the trade. Then we could have just followed it. But for now, I'm gonna have to stay manual. And it may be that that this uptrend is kind of dying out. This little downtrend was actually a positive trade for me on the other account. I think I'll just, maybe I wonder if I can, no, I just have to switch accounts. Otherwise I'd have to install, tomorrow I'm going to install a second button so I can run 2. You can see both accounts on this particular situation. So we're putzing around here, but it really looks like, it looks like, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It looks like we're double topping. Trend might turn negative. If it does, we'll try to take the opportunity the other way. Until then, we're just doing nothing, okay? Because we really got no signals. The way I have this set up is I actually have the reverse signal and the trend break signal as my only signals. So physically, you only have 2 possible arrow entries. The trend break entry, as I'm finding, is just simpler, cleaner, and definitive. And honestly, 90% of the time, it intersects, and the other percent of the time, it's actually better because what happens is the the reference point entries, sometimes it's actually excellent. Like this was a great entry, but very often sometimes it'll be very late in the trend as the first entry, because this is the first entry in trend. And being late in the trend puts you at a big disadvantage. Whereas being early in trend, right over here, I mean, even this looks like it was crazy spike, and it was. This was the CPI spike. But taking this candle over here, there was actually 20 points of profit, and we're only going for 10. So markets were fast, but you would have made easy money on the first break here. And it always basically, the more I think about it, the more I understand that the first break, the earliest break is the best break, even if it's a false break. And I'll show you where the false breaks are in the overnight session. There were clearly a couple of false breaks in the overnight session. And that is, you need to be very much aware of what is the signature pattern of the market that will break this setup, where the setup will just fail. And it's actually very easy to catch it. It makes perfect sense. It's basically a low volatility variant of this thing. I'm trying to see if we get any kind of movement. Sorry, let me, so basically this is all now has to go to the side. I'll keep an eye on this. Let's take a look at all the other structures here. And what do we have here? I don't really need the euro. We're not going to trade currencies. Let's just focus on the indices because that's all I really care about. So the Dow had came in too late to really look at a Dow signal. The German signal here actually failed. Like this is a big takeout that's sort of 52 to 43. Well, it didn't fail. It's only about a 10-point stop here. It looks worse than it is. The NDX is turning negative. Okay, so the NDX is clearly turning negative right now, and now we're looking for sell signals. And I just want to hang on a second. I need to. And it's starting to establish a sell signal against this low over here. And this is actually breaking out to the highs. And I'm watching this because if this kind of holds the highs, I want to go long the Dow. We're having a big divergence. The Dow really is pushing higher. So I want to hold on to because we're making fresh highs. That's always a really, really good sign. Let's see if this candle holds. It needs to hold these highs. And I think the Dow, we've got to be wider on this thing because it's just the volatility on this thing is just way too much. I'm gonna have to go manual on this thing if it holds. Okay, I'm in the Dow. Gonna give it a little room here, and let's see if we can, pull it higher. On the NAS, I actually want to go into sell mode because this is a negative move, and I'll show you this on. You can see this on the futures. So there's two ways to trade the trend break. You can trade it through the break of the lows or a sell mode where you have a green-red candle. And now I'm just setting this up as a sell mode idea to see if if we get triggered into this move on a sell mode, because that would suggest that there's more downside price action to this move. So yeah, that triggers me into the NAS. Oops. All right, we're just going to keep this to the side here. but not working. Wow, the NAS just completely clipped me out. So that didn't work. First break, the NAS, the sell mode didn't work, which is fine. But that was a legitimate trade to the upside. It looks like, you know, the bulls got the story, so we're trading the higher highs on the in a Dow also. I'm trying to see if I can make the 10 on there. Always, man, it was like the spreads on this thing are just always a challenge. But let's see how this plays out. All right, you know what? I cannot stand the way this is trading. Jesus. All right, I'm gonna just take 4 on the Dow because you know, it's probably gonna go to 10. I just like I have zero tolerance for this thing. I need to have the I guess the algo be patient with enough with it to trade. But this took out, you know, fresh highs, so that was a legitimate trade. This thing is still struggling with a downtrend. Although, you know, it kind of faked us out into a trade. And it's, you know, given the volatility of the last few days, that's been just a common theme in a lot of these trades. But that's okay because you will eventually establish a continuation pattern, and we'll catch it. I'm not even watching the DAX. The DAX also, if the DAX makes it through fresh highs on this one, on this candle, I'll go long the DAX also, but we'll give it a shot. It looks like we're kind of 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards today, as we're still really consolidating underneath the session highs. You know, like if you look at the futures, they're just consolidating here, so there's nothing going on here. I'm going to go in a buy sell mode on the DAX here, because, and again, if this holds the highs at a 65% strength, that should be a good candle for us to, you know, to get long. We're trying to break the highs over here. Take a look at the, I'll keep the futures on the side here. Futures are turning, NAS is turning positive. The Dow, of course, is selling off. The Dow is kind of like contraindicating NAS at this point. So actually, you know what? I just realized something interesting. Wow, I just realized something interesting. Yeah. When you're doing the trend break, this is a very interesting point. When you want to do the trend break, you know, idea, you want to take the high low first, and then the buy sell. So if the high low doesn't happen, the buy sell should have. I just realized this because otherwise that's where you get chopped up. The point being is that you have to have the the arrow candle here. Actually, like just in this example, even over here, I sold this in the other account that made money. Had I then gone high low, I actually would have made money because this was a big dip of 20 points, and that would have made me money to the upside. So you can't. That's an interesting little nuance. You must have it actually physically confirm the high low signal. Only then can you go into the buy sell mode. Don't try to anticipate it. That was a mistake that will not be made again. All right, and now we're going back into our torture session of just chop up and down. And now I'm just really not. We're really not going to participate until we get some clarity of movement here. So this looks like I'm trying to see if now the DAX can't even make it. See, the DAX can't even hold it up to the upside. Very well. I want to go in the buy-sell mode on the Dow too, just because we're at the moving average. If this holds strongly at 65% candle, it's a decent trade. But it's got to hold 65% candle, so it's got to hold this trade. Okay, so Dow takes me in. Let's see if that works, and maybe it doesn't. All right, 7, 8, good enough. So I mean that big stretch. That's why you have to give it a little bit of room, but at least that's a reasonable structure. We can cancel the DAX because I really am not interested in DAX. Let's take a look at what the NAS is doing. Is it changing around? Now it's still very tight. It's still going back into the downward trade, right? Just kind of a downward trade to the downside. So we still effectively are in a downtrend in the NAS, and if this thing turns negative, breaks the so what's interesting here is that now you're seeing the sell reference point, right? The reverse buy, the sell reference point in the NAS on a very tiny negative trend. This is in the futures, and we'll see if that holds. The way you know the difference is what I did is all the reference points are colored black, whereas all the trend break points to the downside are green, to the upside to the downside are red, to the upside are green. That way you know there's a difference in indicators visually as you look around here. All right, I'm starting to fold. So what I'm interested in is the break of this level. So this candle breaks this level, or next candle breaks this level. That's going to be a trigger candle for us. So we have to watch that carefully. So at least that's going to be a legitimate trend slice break that we can try and see if we can trade to the downside. Honestly, we're just consolidating. You see, there's a lot of, and you have to be very mindful. There's a lot of two-way action, so there's no legitimate trades, so nothing to do. You guys are seeing. I just want to make sure you guys are seeing both the futures and the CFDs overlaid, right? So you guys are seeing all the signals. Somebody tell me yes in the room just to make sure that you guys are seeing it. Okay. All right, so now we get a buy reference point, which means that now you have like two possibilities for trades: a break of a low. If this thing obviously holds, we got 48 seconds to see if this candle completes. This candle completes, it will create a possibility for a so yeah, it dies before I can even speak. Clearly there's a lot of profit taking sellers here. We took the Nasdaq is up like how much is it up? Let me see. Let me look at my other chart. It's up 93 basis points, so it's a lot. It's up almost 1%. So running into a little bit of profit taking. Obviously, weaker CPI was a huge lift, but it's one of those kind of things where we could be opening up strong and then finishing up weak. We'll have to see. So I'm watching the price action here because what I want in order for me to have a legitimate sell setup is this level needs to be broken on a closing basis. So it's got to be like, it's got to be closing down somewhere around 95, maybe 91. No, there it is. So you see how it's turning into a red candle. I got 18, 19 seconds. It's got to hold, and it disappears if it, if it doesn't. If it comes down, then I will sell. Oops, sorry. We'll just watch the CFDs here. If it comes down, what do we got? 3, 2. Do we have a legitimate sell? Okay, we have a sell. So I just sold. I sold the CFDs against this. Let's see if we can get a 5 out of this thing. Because obviously I'm trading with spreads, but we'll see. Ooh. Let me make sure that this was, yeah, this was a signal. It was a legitimate signal. And ooh, I want to give myself 20 on this because it's a lot of, it's probably going to stop me out. It's just, it's very, very tough markets right now on the, oh, look at the TP is not coming in. I want TP to be 5. Okay, let's see if that's all set up. Yeah, really, the volatility, remember I said the volatility's last couple of days is just going to be a real trial. There's 2 ways we can get screwed. No continuity and just really hard volatility that then takes us into profit. So I'm just trying to survive the volatility cover here because the trend clearly looks to be lower. And if we can just get the sell momentum to the, depress, we should be okay, but we'll see. Right? This, tough trade. Nope, just not doing it for us today. Ooh, it took me out on, I didn't even see it. Sorry, the volatility is just too hard. Now, having said this, now we do have a legitimate arrow. So if there is a sell mode trade, which I'm going to go back into the sell mode trade to be done, then now we do the sell mode trade. Meaning that if we get a sell candle that's going to fit our parameters, we're going to go back again because this is just if this is a true downtrend, it's just the volatility retrace that takes us out on a 20, and it's just nothing you can do unless you want to get wider stops because that's just the nature. We've had this happen to us yesterday too. Just the nature of the trade of the markets right now, where you just get huge moves up and down that provide a lot of drive-by casualty trades. So let's see how this. We need 2 things. We need a red candle. We need a candle that's going to be 65% strong. Not quite, but would have been good. Ugh, damn, and now it just collapses on me. Of course. Okay, you know what? I'm going to follow. Forget it. Okay, I'm following this late. I'm sorry. This just missed, but I kind of feel like it's going to continue a little bit more here. Let's see if I can get more, at least a little bit. There we go. 4 or 5 points. And that's been the story of the last couple of days of the high volatility, where you have the right direction, but you just get clipped on the execution. So unfortunately, we make one, we lose one on this one, which was clear reversal trades. Just how the ball bounces last couple of days, but you have to appreciate that it's all moving in that direction. Like, it was just clear that we kind of gave up, and this was just the vicious little retrace that kind of took us out. I don't know if you guys, if anybody took the second trade, but obviously the second trade worked. The first trade didn't. Trying to see if we get a reference point trade, because if we can get a reference point trade, then we may have a second sell opportunity in this structure. And as I'm talking to you guys, I'm just wondering about one other thing that might be interesting. In these high volatility times, the kind of a careful setup, sort of the cautious setup with this 3-candle break, may be that you get. I'm just looking. Let's just take a look at the chart here. Well, this was this obviously doesn't count because this was before the news, so that's why I closed it all out. So it doesn't really matter. I'm just looking to see. Yes and no. Here's post news. The pure breakout would have worked. The post breakout buy sell actually wouldn't have worked because you had so much profit. This is just a problem. You have a lot of profit taking, volatility coming in over here. That would have this candle was 65, would have taken you into the trade. Close was 54, and the highs were 59. It would just would have swiped you out here on a move. On the other hand, this would have worked. This certainly worked, to the downside. I'm just wondering, if let me see if I can just take this away. If I'm looking at the breakouts, this is a high breakout. So this would take me over here. This would have worked either way. So both of them would have worked fine. Here's the, I think this works fine. You see this is a profitable trade, but like the second more careful trade, which is the buy sell one, would have worked fine too. Here's one that breaks out. This is a buy. This is a high. So this would have been this candle over here. That candle works. You do buy sell. Yeah, that's a tough choice. If you're coming in over here, I'm coming in at 6. It drops all the way down to 96. Yeah, no, it still would have worked. Yeah, being the cautious variant is a better variant. The cautious variant is a better variant. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just use the break signal as a structure, and then you got the last candle down. Sorry, what do you mean, Connie? You sold this one and you made the money on the downside on the downdraft. Yeah, you could really the thing that's beautiful about the levels, especially in exchange-based hours, is you can really see trend developing pretty dynamically and very, very definitively. And you can have a lot more confidence in the trade as the trend develops. Like now, basically the only thing is that you see we have no reference points popping up. They're going to be popping up very late. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but it's obviously, this is why I like the 3-candle break better, because it's an earlier signal. You don't have to wait for something that could be very much deeper in the maturity of the trend. But on the other hand, here's the 3-candle signal here. This is the reference point. Once it gets broken over here, it's fine. It really runs. So it's not necessarily that being so far away is bad. What's going on over here? Ooh, I missed the DAX because I was looking at all the stuff here. It looks like I'm starting to get a reference point on. Okay, so I'm starting to get a reference point on like our old, old-fashioned reference point on here. What do we got? 32 seconds. If this holds, we'll see. It's got to hold. I'm watching the Dow, by the way. Okay, so this actually creates a reference point on the NAS, which means that if we start breaking to the low, we have a legitimate trade to the downside. And it's breaking to the low, so we'll see how this trade goes. It's really breaking to the low. Got 23 seconds. You got 10 with Dow. Good for you. Yeah, I'm just sort of like, okay, let's go sell this. We got 5 to the downside. Let's see if this works. Should work. Come on, hit me. There we go. There we go. Come on. Whoa. Okay, good. That's a classic structure trade. So late, but a good signal. There you go. That indicator is, so Jonathan, that indicator is not available yet. It's called the trend break indicator. Working on it, okay? So should have the 4 and the 5s on that, probably I would say early next week. Sorry, where's my thing? Where are we? So I'm just showing it to you guys specifically because you don't have it. So I'm just using it in the thing. But that's something that's just it's a variant. It's basically a variant. But you can see, basically boom, boom, boom. The trade works nice and clean. So yeah, you just have to, we just have to be super patient and appreciate the fact that we're gonna get volatility reversals. And actually, I mean, the big takeaway from just trading right now is that, especially in a high vol environment right now, well, if we're trading the trend break, then we should just wait, not take the signal, wait till we get a buy sell signal, and that becomes a much stronger signal. If we'd done that, there would have been 2 straight clean straight trades. And that's basically it. It's just the ability to put up 3 out of 4 clean straight trades, which is all that it does. I started, I'm not kidding you, I started yesterday. And I mean, like this is me kind of like butchering up still a lot of stuff, but I started yesterday with 592, right? Really butchering it up. Then I let the whole thing, and I wasn't even trading most of the trend breaks, just basically buy sells off reference points, just steady 24 hours. And you see it's 24 hours there. Now it ran up all the way almost up to 900. Of course, it's going to give back. And that's the thing. It's it's going to run up and come back, and you have to just be very what's the word I'm looking for? Tolerant of the retrace, because the retraces are naturally going to happen. And this is what I want to talk to you about now. I mean, now that I think we're pretty much done. We got this. Remember, we're only working on one signal per slice, so we're done with all this crap. I'm really not trading anymore. And hang on, I just want to see something. What's going on here? I see. Huh? I wonder what I didn't take. Huh. Okay. And you see now it's really starting to fall apart. You could, you could just a complete collapse. But what I wanted to show you was, um, sorry, you know what I'm going to do? So we do have, we do have, if we want to, we can go into the buy sell mode now. Because this is a very sharp cable. We have like one more possibility, which is that if you get a buy sell structure, although it's so deeply sold now, it's might not be a high probability trade, that it'd be worthwhile to take a second thing. Basically, I've been running the high low break and the buy sell structure break in two separate accounts. So now we're getting, if this thing holds as a buy candle, and then we get a couple, even if we get a couple of retrace buy candles, and then we get a sell candle at a 65% strength or higher, then we have a signal, I'm actually, hang on just one sec, guys. Bear with me a sec. I just want to do something here. Control I. Close. Let me just, sorry, I just want to do something on my thing here. Okay. Just trying to figure out if this new indicator is having any impact on us here. Okay, so I'm just watching this. We get maybe a second buy candle, and then if we get a red candle, it should trigger a trade. But it's got to be 65% strength. So like right now, what's the candle strength on this thing? Oh, it's not going to show until it finishes. Right now, that's not gonna trigger us as we speak. It's only 10-12 seconds. It's really got to close to the end of its low. Okay, so no signal. Oh no, it did trigger me. So how did that trigger? Oh, maybe it dropped on the signal. That's weird. Huh. Was this a 65%? Maybe it did. Where's the candle strength? Yeah, 67. Okay, so let's stay on this thing. Let's see what it does. There we go. Okay, good. So again, two very defined setups work perfectly. But it's interesting. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit distracted because my algo is not taking trades, and I think I know why. Anyways, sorry. What I was going to say is two very defined trades, right? Session break, high low, clean. Session break, buy sell, clean. Let's go over here. The trend break, no, but trend break by itself does not seem to be the best way of executing that trade, because the thing is, it is such a high velocity trade that the counter velocity will very often just simply stop us out. So it seems like the much better way for us to execute this is we have the session break signal, and then we go into the buy sell mode, and then just that session break signal off the buy sell mode gives us a much higher confidence that because what this is basically saying is, yes, momentum confirms, and then as always we have retrace and then reconfirmation of the original momentum. Great, we go. To me, that's sort of like, I really love the trend break buy sell variant because there's two things. It's doing the first thing, which is confirming momentum and trade, but then secondly, it's coming in earlier, typically earlier than the reference point moves. So therefore, you have a higher probability that this is going to be a trend extension move. Because now, as you see, we made money here, but it really was escaping by the skin of our teeth. Just sort of like really, you're so deep down in the trend. Now, if you're trading super long 50, 60 point stops, this trend could still continue, but it's much more of a mature move. We're trying to capture the beginning of the trend. That's really the essence of our thing, which is why I love this kind of a variant the most. But these things, especially the high lows, work perfectly fine. And on in the grander scheme of things, they work really well. So the last thing I want to do, because I think we're kind of done with all the setups right now. There's really nothing else coming in here. Let me kill this. I want to go to. I want to show you. Let me see. Okay, I want to show you like where this strategy really is challenging, and it's not surprising to understand where it's challenging. And by the way, also going to redo we're redoing the trading view, so there's only going to be one single indicator per slice. We're not going to have these multiple indicators, so it's going to be much easier. But the basic idea here is where it's really challenging, as you can see, is where we get just in European late Asia sessions where we have like this was chop. When you have just absolute moving average compression and every breakout is then completely reversed because the range itself is so tiny, that's where you're going to get a false buy side that then gets taken out by the sell side, right? And then you get a false sell side that gets taken out by the buy side. You need to understand that this low volatility environment is the bane of your existence. And there's two things to do about it. You can say, okay, I really don't care. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna battle through it and take my stops because then when I get my profits, they're all going to stack up. Or you can just simply say, look, I'm only going to trade the highest volatility times. The highest volatility times on the calendar are always the start of Asia session, which is 1900 to 2100 Europe, 1900 to 2100 New York. Starting at 7 o'clock at night New York till 9 o'clock New York, this is where you want 100-point moves, because we're trying to capture the 10-point moves out of the 100-point moves, right? That's what you want. And you want to avoid the 10-point back and forths. And then you're looking, actually the European session in New York by New York hours really starts 2 to 4. The 4 o'clock is already too late. I mean, it's okay, but this 2 to 4, that's the big breakouts. And then after that, it really, the rest of the day you can just basically start at 10 o'clock on. That's where you get the range expansion, and all the moves that that you're seeing. So that's something you could decide to do, or you could just trade the whole session. But I just wanted to point out to you where you're most likely to fail during the really quiet hours, where you're going to get back and forth volatility, which is exactly the opposite of of what we need. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got a meeting, so I have to cut this a little bit short today. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it just by simply understanding, taking the one trade that works and trying not to take anything else that doesn't. We are working on the tools as I speak. So maybe even by the end of tonight, but certainly by the end of this week, I should have the really final tools and all of this stuff ready for you guys. Okay. So everybody have a great day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see everybody later.